Welcome back, Vicarious viewers. My name is Vicente. I'm here to review the brand new Stephen King adaptation, Doctor Sleep. This movie was directed by Mike Flanagan, who I have been familiar with for his work on Oculus and Gerald's Game, both of which I really enjoyed. And I can definitely see his style here, and it was a movie that I definitely enjoyed. Don't worry, this review is spoiler free. I don't want to ruin anything for people who are unfamiliar with the books or the story at large. This movie stars Ewan McGregor as a grown up Danny Torrance, who is the little boy from The Shining, who is now an alcoholic adult trying to run from his ghosts in a both figurative and literal sense. And this movie actually has three major storylines that all start separately and converge at the end. That of Danny Torrance, young Abra, who shines brighter and has more power than he ever did as a kid, played by Kyliegh Curran. I hope I said that right. And the third storyline is the True Knot, who are our villains of the story. These are, in essence, psychic vampires out there that prey on those with psychic ability, those that shine the brightest. I do have to say, as a fan of the book, this adaptation was very close. I know I read the book at least a few years ago when it first came out, but from what I remember, this was pretty spot on in a lot of places. I was pleasantly surprised by that because I usually go into movie adaptations of books with a grain of salt, expecting changes and creative differences and altercations to save on either money or time or to get rid of minor characters. But all of this played out very much like the book. And he weaved the stories in a way that didn't make it feel like the movie was dragging on too long. This is a long movie, about 2.5 hours, but I was pretty engaged throughout. But that may just be chalked up to me being a big Stephen King fan and a big fan of the books The Shining and Doctor Sleep. Personally, I prefer the book The Shining to the movie The Shining. Um, I remember seeing the Shining, the movie, when I was younger and thinking, like, oh, well, that's pretty creepy. But then later in life, I actually read the book and I was like, wow, this is a really good book. And then I tried rewatching the movie and realizing how much they had changed and a lot of the themes that were no longer present in the movie or completely omitted. And I didn't really care for that. But this adaptation, this kept a lot of things consistent. Um, of course, there is one major difference dealing with a certain hotel. I would say that this movie is both an adaptation of the book Doctor Sleep and a partial sequel to the Stanley Kubrick movie The Shining because it takes elements from the Kubrick movie and brings them over in a sort of fan service, but I think they use it well enough where it doesn't feel like pandering or just in your face or pointless. I think it all plays off very well in the end. This is not a necessarily like terrifying jump scare, actiony, violent type of movie. I mean, it does have violence and it does have horrifying aspects and themes in it, which make it a horror movie and unsettling in a lot of places. But if you're looking for something to scare your pants off and jump out of your seat and spill your drink all over yourself, this is not that kind of movie. Those who cannot sit still and wait for good character development and learning about people before they're thrust into these horrific situations, this also might not be the movie for you. But I appreciated the world building and getting to know not only our protagonists but the villains as well, seeing their side of the story and seeing that they are horrible people doing horrible things, but they do also have reason behind it. This will definitely be a movie that I pick up on Blu-ray when it comes out. As for the acting, I thought the acting was great. Ewan McGregor did excellent as Danny Torrance, uh, showing his transformation through the years, being an alcoholic, running from the voices in his head and trying to drown out the ghosts that are following him, to someone that realizes that he could be using it for something good and to help people, to comfort them in their darkest times. And surprise shout out to Kyliegh Curran, who displays a wide range of emotion and character in this movie for a child actor. Bravo! I really enjoyed her performance. I wanted to say the character might have been a little bit younger in the books, but I can see why they cast her in this role because she knocked it out of the park. I would say I would give this movie 5 out of 5 vicarious feels. I felt for the characters. There were times when I was unnerved. There were a few bits that gave me a few chuckles. Like a whole spectrum of emotion was on display in this movie, and I really enjoyed it. It was great storytelling, and though it's not your typical slasher monster fare, this is very much in the world of Stephen King and very much that style, but it's also very much Mike Flanagan's movie as well, and you see his talent for storytelling here. So I highly recommend that you see this in the theater if you like good character development around the horror themes of not only the darkness that lurks out there that's otherworldly, but the darkness within people and what they're willing to do to each other to survive. If I release a spoiler review for this, it'll probably be maybe next week because I don't want to put out too many spoilers in the world. We get too many of those too often. But let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What didn't you like about it? Did you find it could have been a little shorter, or do you like the suspenseful build as well? But anyway, if you like reviews like this, hit like and subscribe, ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos, and thanks for stopping in for this Vicarious View.